Welcome back to Half the Battle. I'm your host, as always, Daniel Levy, your co-host, Shaq. And man, it's crazy that 2020 is basically over. The UFC, no more events in the UFC this year. So we're going to recap the best and the worst of 2020. And man, Shaq, can you believe this year flew by so fast?
Um, yeah, I mean, the years do go by fast these days, man. The days go by faster, so it's not that surprising. But I'm glad we're on the 2021.
I'm glad as well, man, but there's a lot to talk about. So we'll get down to everything here in a sec. But obviously, first, we got to let the fans know that support for Half the Battle is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below the waist grooming. Looking for the ultimate stocking stuffers for this holiday season? Look no further, because our sponsors, Manscaped, have the tools to make you win this year's stocking stuffer or white elephant competition. Manscaped is the only brand dedicated to below the waist grooming and hygiene products. And great news, they just released their products across Europe, Canada, and Australia. And Shaq, I mean, we've been nailing this point home, man. You got to stay ready for those short notice opportunities with Manscaped. And a few of their products that are prime stocking stuffers this season. Obviously, you got to talk about the Crop Preserver. And obviously, the ball deodorant speaks for itself. They got the Crop Reviver, which is the toner. It's got some hazel extract. So they got all the products to keep you fresh. And what I like was they went ahead, they hooked us up with their new cologne, that Refine. And let me just tell you that it smells absolutely fantastic. So use the promo code BATTLE20 at manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping. That's BATTLE20, all caps, BATTLE20 at manscaped.com. And be the ballsiest gift giver this holiday season, Shaq.
Yeah, man, 100%. I tried out that cologne. It does smell pretty good, man. So not only are your balls smelling good, not only is your balls smelling, but now your whole body's smelling good, man. So Manscaped, they're keeping everyone in tip top shape this holiday season.
I heard the results been good since that new cologne arrived, Shaq.
Yeah, man. I mean, hey, if your balls smell good, you smell good, then you feel good, man.
You feel good, you look good, you do everything good. So, Shaq, let's get right down to business, man. We got to talk about the knockout of the year first. And I have a feeling we might be on the same page here. I got to give it to Joaquin Buckley, man, against Impa, because it's funny because, like, going into this year, I wasn't even sure if Joaquin Buckley was a UFC caliber guy, to be 100% honest with you. I thought that he was just, some brawler, so, he could be some club fighter. But, man, he's showed us he's a lot better than I thought he was, man. Not just because of that knockout. He's got takedowns. He's not just the guy that swings big bombs. And that highlight reel knockout went so viral to the point that, I'm at Thanksgiving dinner. I go to my dad's place for Thanksgiving, and he's showing me, he's like, did you hear about that knockout? When they say that knockout, I already know what they're referring to. So I got to go Joaquin Buckley as my number one, man.
Yeah, man, that definitely was. I mean, that was probably one of the best knockouts I've seen. I mean, in the live moment, I think that's what I tweeted. I said that might be one of the best knockouts we've seen. Another good one. You can't forget No Love against the Sunsal. That was, grabbing the fence and then sleeping him. That was pretty spectacular. But yeah, Buckley. I mean, we never seen a move like that. So he's my KO of the year as well. But, I'll give Cody Garbrandt some honorable mention. Another good one was my boy Blachowicz earlier this year against Corey in their rematch. Corey went to sleep. I mean, that's just facts. And let's not forget about Dariush. He had a nasty KO earlier as well, man. There was a couple of good ones, man. Dober had a big upset and a KO. A lot of people aren't talking about that one. And another one of my low-key ones that not too many people talk about, Daniel, is when Brian Kelleher fought Hunter Azor earlier. I mean, Hunter Azor went to bed, bro. I mean, he was literally snoring. So, that was another vicious knockout.
That was definitely a brutal KO. A couple to add to the list. We only got to see Francis Ngannou for about 20 seconds in all of 2020. But boy, were those 20 seconds vicious, my friend, because he went out there against Rosenstrike and slept him. Still the only man to defeat Rosenstrike in MMA to this day. And then also Kevin Holland against Jacare. I mean, it's not surprising that Kevin won. It's surprising how Kevin won. He beat Jacare on the mat, off his back, starts punching him, starts elbowing him, knocks him unconscious. It was absolutely devastating and brutal. So that's got to be right up there, Shaq.
I mean, yeah, hashtag, punches from bottom. Kevin was channeling his inner Nico Price there, and he got Jacare to sucked into his game. I mean, he was telling Jacare, Jacare, I had a dream about this, and Jacare engaged with him, and he went to sleep, man. And now it's some of these old guys are on their way out, and guys like Kevin Holland, who's in the running for Fight of the Year, now he's booming, now he's the talk of the town. So
for sure. Shout out to everybody in the chat here with us. So my boy Rex Lee says Merry Christmas, Shaq and Dan. Merry Christmas, Rex Lee. My boy 420 is doing some Christmas shots. We got my boy Easy. Yeah. It's midnight over there in the UK. I appreciate you spending your midnight with us.
UK
420 said he's ready like T Wood is ready for his second UFC run. Let's get that right. So MT wants to know, he says, Shaq, did T Wood really get cut? That's your boy.
Man, so he earlier this morning on his Snapchat, he said he just had a picture that said cut. So like when everyone saw that, I mean, I'm still not sure if it's not true or true, but what else would that mean? Like he said cut, and then Malky says it's not true. But I mean, if they T Wood is my boy. Look, I feel bad for the guy. I mean, these last 3 fights, Daniel, we're talking 0 for 15. I mean, there was some 10-8ers in there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and look, I know it's Usman, Covington, and Burns, and those are the top 3 guys. But I mean, guys, he's not showing anything in those fights, man. So I definitely understand if they cut him, Mtez. I mean, he can focus on that rap career, PFL, Bellator. I mean, falling in and out of love.
Yeah. I think it's probably just one of those things where his manager is just changing up the verbiage on us. He probably asked for his release instead of got cut. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You can read between the lines.
It was one of those. So. But real quick, Sensei says, y'all think Krause puts Buckley to sleep? I don't personally.
I can't wait for the fight, Sensei. I mean, both these dudes are from the same hood, I hear. So, apparently Buckley's kicked out of every gym in Missouri for sparring too hard. So, and Krause called him a shitbox. So now he's got to answer. Krause probably should have picked the fight with the welterweight, Sensei, but instead he wants to fight a middleweight. We know what happened the last time he fought at middleweight. It didn't look too good. So. I know it was a day notice, but I'm excited for that fight. That's one of the fights I'm looking forward to for 2021.
And that whole thing about Buckley getting kicked out of every gym that he's been to, not anymore, man. Now he's found the right people with Jamal Hill and Chaos Williams. They love his sparring style. They didn't have an issue with Buckley, so he fits in with those guys, and I feel like his career has been taken off, and all those guys have been looking good. Even though Chaos is coming off a loss, I still thought he performed well. Obviously, Jamal Hill, we're going to be talking about him, so there's a lot to discuss. So I think Buckley's in the right spot for sure. Addison agrees with you, Shaq, on that Cody Garbrandt knockout.
Hey, man, Assunção should have seen that coming. I mean, he was like, his hand was on the fence, but Assunção, he is pushing 40 these days. So, unfortunately, you know how these things tend to go.
Yeah, 100%. So submission of the year. For me, I got to go with Sterling versus Sandhagen, man. I thought it was going to be this fucking all-time classic fight, between the 2 top prospects fighting for a title shot. So much was on the line, and Sterling just goes in there and blows him out the water like it was absolutely nothing, made him look like he's never trained a day of jiu-jitsu in his life. That's my submission of the year. Aljamain Sterling over Corey Sandhagen, Shaq.
Yeah, that was very unexpected. I mean, because it happened so fast. What, less than a minute?
Yeah.
Right? It was less than a minute. Yeah. One takedown, boom, it was over. So, and that's what got him his title fight, man. So yeah, my submission of the year, man, is it was a surprising submission. And not too many people saw this one coming, because the notion on this person is that they have no ground game, and that's from my girl GDR, Jermaine the Iron Lady Durandamy. I mean, everyone, what does everyone usually say about Jermaine? Oh, she can't grapple. You know what I'm saying? You get on top of her, the round's over. Well, that second round, Juliana, who's one of the better grapplers in that division, and my girl Jermaine not only submitted her, but in that second round, she had her in a Von flu. I mean, Juliana was almost going to sleep, man. And in that third round, she was finally able to get that guillotine in the third round, man. And she put her to sleep, man. And it shocked everybody. I mean, when you ever seen Jermaine hitting sub? So, that was my submission of the year. And maybe that I'm expecting her and Holly to run it back here, soon in 2021.
And then we also got, speaking of submissions, we got Juliana Pena, the person that got submitted against GDR. She's taking on Sarah Loves to Tap in the second round, McMahon. So it'll be interesting to see if she can turn the tables in this upcoming fight, if you know what I mean, Shaq.
Yeah, another good submission, even though the fight was complete horseshit. And I don't even know if it was a real submission. Was my boy, my boy postpartum Vellante against Maurice Green. Hit him with that shit from bottom. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that was a nice sub. You remember when Kelleher made Buddy tap with his feet earlier this year? That was a nice sub too. What's his name? Nice. O'Day Osborne. I mean, Buddy had to tap with his feet. You don't see that too often.
We haven't heard from the kid since.
He actually has a fight. He actually took a fight. I forget against who, but he's got a fight.
I think it's that kid that Tyson Nam knocked out, right? Jerome Rivera or whatever.
No, Jerome Rivera is fighting Davidson's little brother.
Okay. So who was it?
I'm not sure, but I think it's someone from Contender Series or some shit.
Okay, let me look it up. So I'm curious because like O'Day came into the UFC with so much hype and then just took one L. We never heard from him again. It doesn't even say on Tapology, so who knows?
I know I saw him not too long, maybe a couple of weeks ago. They said he had a fight, but we'll see. But yeah, that was a good sub, man. Who else had a good sub this year? I said Lipsky, I said Kelleher, but yeah, Jermaine won it all for me.
Yeah, I mean GDR, that's no one expected that. Like out of all the possible outcomes, they were saying knockout or decision for GDR. She goes out there, submits Juliana Pena, so that's got to be on anyone's list. So rookie of the year. So someone that made their debut in 2020 and really stood out. I got two. The first one's pretty obvious. I got to go with Khamzat Chimaev, man. I mean, this guy came out of nowhere, went undefeated in 2020, smashed his opponents completely, got 1 million followers on Instagram, and now he's fighting the number 3 guy on planet Earth to kick off 2021. So I would say that's a hell of a rookie year right there. I got Khamzat Chimaev as my rookie of the year, man.
Yeah, man. Chimaev, I mean, it was the year that Chimaev pretty much, man. My bad. I mean, this guy literally, look, the jury's still out, but I mean, just the way he created that buzz for himself with those wins. I mean, just the whole I'll smash you thing. I mean, he took that and he ran with it, and you can't hate on that at all. So I definitely agree with that. I'll go with man, who? Hold on, give me some options. Who made their debuts?
My boy
this year?
Vincent said Habib over Justin. That's a good option.
You said what now?
Habib over Justin Gaethje.
For
my bad. Sorry, sorry. It's holiday season, so we're feeling good over here. But yeah, back to rookie of the year. But shout out to my boy Vincent because Habib did have a great sub over Justin.
Oh yeah, for 100%. I mean, I ain't never seen Justin look look that lost in a cage in my life. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, I'll probably agree with Chimaev. I can't think who else made their debuts this year. Man, I like the kid Taporia, but he just made it. He just had 2 fights real quick. Hill didn't make his debut this year. It was last year, right?
Nah, Hill was this year. Hill's my other rookie of the
Oh,
year.
okay. Well, sure, I'll go Jamal Hill. You know, because I think he could potentially make some waves at light heavyweight. He did just hit the rankings. It's unfortunate they took that win over Clitson away from him. You know what I'm saying? You know that bullshit for the weed shit. But you know he'll be my rookie of the year. That OSP fight, man. I ain't seen a performance like that at 205 against OSP in a while since Ray. I mean, he finished him. Reyes finished him. You know, in the very last second. But you know, Hill got him out of there quick, man.
Man, Hill looked absolutely phenomenal against OSP. That was definitely one of the performances of the year. And you guys know how high I am on Jamal Hill, and obviously going to talk about him throughout the show. So, yeah, definitely up there for rookie of the year. It's between him and Hamzat Himaev for me. So, performance of the year. So, I got a few, man. Firstly, back to my boy Vincent. I got to go Habib versus Gaethje, man. I mean, Habib, like we thought that Gaethje was going to finally be the guy to test him. He's got the D1 wrestling credential. He's got the one punch knockout power, this and that. You know, he's been looking great. Habib just dismantled him, man, and destroyed him like it was nothing, and then retired. So that's definitely got to be one of the performances of the year, Shaq.
I mean, like I said just a minute ago, I ain't never seen Justin Gaethje look so lost in the cage in my life. I was like, damn, he's just making Gaethje look like, you know, he's it almost looked like Ali Kinsa was in there for a second or something. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, that's definitely up there, man. Yeah, a couple of good performances. Speaking of Gaethje, was I mean him being the initial guy to break the Tony Ferguson streak. I mean he was the guy that was headlining the card when we first came back, you know, from that little break that we had. And I mean he a lot of people say he ended Mr. Ferguson, you know what I'm saying, that night, and I think that might have been the case. So you know, that was a great performance. Another great performance was Peter Yan against Jose Aldo, man. I thought that was a great fight. I mean, you know, Jose is a legend, one of the greatest fighters to ever do it. And I mean, Peter was faced with adversity in that fight, and just the way it ended. I mean, that was just a beautiful performance. Another one is my boy, the triple goat, going out, you know, in his retirement party against Dominic Cruz. And you know, people would be like, oh, it was Dominic, but they weren't saying that shit before the fight, because before the fight, I was seeing all type of shit saying Cruz was back and all this stuff. So, you know, Henry went out there, knocked him out, and retired. And I'm looking forward to seeing Henry back in 2021.
Yeah, for me, performance of the year, you know, in addition to Habib and Gaethje, I also thought Davison, Dice Dugea, Figueredo, both times against Benavidez, those were two of the best performances of the year. Just absolutely effortless. I mean, and it's violent and it's vicious the way he finished them both times. The first time, you know, he showed off, even though he won by knockout the first time, he showed off that arm bar off his back, his takedown defense, his get up game. Then the second time, dropped him like 4 times, and then became the first man in UFC history, MMA history, to submit Joseph Benavidez. So Davison Figueredo definitely up there, and then also Israel Adesanya against Paulo Costa. Man, I was thinking that was going to be his toughest test to date, and he went out there. I mean, let's just put it this way: he was humping him after the fight. That's how.
I mean, Daniel, it got so bad that people were using the hashtag blacked out there. I mean, that's when you know it gets bad.
I mean, that was a destruction, and it's to the point where
Paulo Costa woke up the following morning, you know, with the #1 video on Pornhub. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's definitely one of the performances of the year, no doubt about it. Also, Jan Blachowicz against Dom Reyes, man, to go out there, win that belt. I know we're going to get to him soon, but that's one of the performances of the year. So, upset of the year. So, on paper, it's got to go to Shanna Dobson against Agapova. It was literally the biggest upset of the year. So, and I mean, it's funny because Agapova, all she did was smashed Hannah Cyphers, and you know, there's all this talk about, oh, she's the next Joanna Jędrzejczyk, and she was, you know, all this and that. And then Shanna Dobson just goes out there with a 3-4 record, Shaq. Biggest upset of the year. It was insane at the time, man.
Yeah, man, it was, because I mean, you know, Shanna Dobson, I think she was coming off a a vicious knockout loss before that. And I thought Maria was gonna run over her too. But then, when the fight started, I didn't bet Maria, but I'm sure my Maria bettors were having a mini panic attack. They were like, "Wait, whoa, chill out. What are you doing?" Like, she was fighting man, she had 25 seconds to fight. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy.
She was redlining like Justin James.
Yeah, I was like, yo, this girl's tripping. But yeah, that's up there. But my upset of the year, man, is gonna go to also in the female division is Roxanne over Macy, man, very early this year. I think the first card of the year. Man, I feel like Roxanne Modafferi is always in this discussion every year. I mean, she pulls off these upsets on a very frequent basis. I'm talking 3-1 underdog, 4-1 underdog, 8-1 underdog. I mean, if you bet Roxanne Modafferi in her UFC career, bro, I mean, you made some money. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure she'll be the underdog, a big underdog again in her next fight. She's fighting Arujo VV. So
she is a big underdog.
Yeah, I'm assuming she's a hefty underdog there as well. But man, this girl, man, I respect her, man. It's about time, I mean, it's not pretty, but I mean, look, she gets it done. So that was, I mean, Macy was. I mean, that was another case where, like Agapova, where she made Jillian quit, and she beat JJ Aldridge and some other and Hannah Cyphers, you know what I'm saying, and everyone thought she was the second coming of Christ, including myself. And Roxanne Modafferi went out there and showed otherwise. I mean, people can blame the injury all they want, but before the injury, it wasn't looking too good either. You know what I mean? So. I think that was the upset of the year.
Yeah. And I also got to go with Brunson versus Edmund. I mean, everyone was talking about how Edmund Shabazian was going to be the guy to dethrone Israel Adesanya, how he was, the second coming of Christ. And usually when guys beat Derek Brunson, that's how they prove that they're ready for that next level. When Yoel beat Brunson, when Rob Whittaker beat Brunson, he got the title shot. When Izzy beat Brunson, he was a fight away from a title shot. So beating Brunson is a big deal, and it was almost like a foregone conclusion going into that fight that Edmund was just going to run through him in the first round. And everyone just wrote off that Darren Stewart fight where Edmund showed a lot of vulnerability in that third round. And then guess what? Brunson brought it out of him, Shaq, and Brunson taught him a lesson, and we haven't heard from him since.
The golden boy gives up after the first round. I'm just kidding. But yeah, man, that was a big upset at the time, man. Brunson was a big underdog, right? Like pushing 3-1, like over 2-1, right? If I'm not mistaken.
He was he might have been like plus 300. Like it was
yeah, like he was a big underdog. And then another one is my boy Trevin. They took his win away from him, but his win over Timur Valiev, who's this hyped Russian from PFL, and Trevin was getting spanked up that first round. I mean, it was getting ugly. And then Timur Valiev thought the fight was over and got caught, man. That was a huge underdog line as well, like plus 500. So he's up there.
Speaking of PFL, you heard your prediction came true. Anthony Showtime Pettis signed with the PFL earlier today, Shaq.
Perfect move for him. Go get, I mean, what is he going to do? Stay around and fight these young, hungry monsters at 155 like Arman Sarukian and fucking Hack Parast and fucking Ismagulov and Moises and all these fucking young, hungry fucking animals, man. They'll fucking it's a good move. Go fight Chris Wade, go fight Natan Schultz, Natan Schultz is dangerous as it gets over there, you know what I'm saying? So who else is there?
Go whoop on Chris Wade twice.
Yeah, go knock out Chris Wade, bro.
Yeah. They could probably fight like 2 or 3 times, just go pad your record with a couple Chris Wade wins, no big deal.
Bro, go sleep Chris Wade, go sleep Ramsey, go sleep
Will
who
Brooks
else is out there? Will Brooks, Brian Foster, whoever the fuck they got over there, you know what I'm saying? Go out there and let's get back to Showtime jumping off cages and shit.
Yeah, and the other thing they say about PFL too, so I think we might see a more electric Showtime, shinier Showtime.
he can take his vitamins, his supplement plan. He can get back on that, so he'll be good to go. I'm
I'm
looking, man.
excited.
I know he wants. I'd like you go ahead and Natan Schulte versus Pettis. I mean, who you got?
That's a great fight, right? Isn't that a fantastic fight? I think Pettis might be favored there, honestly. Natan Schulte was a big dog in a lot of those fights.
I mean, Schulte's he's won 2 of the millions. You know what I'm saying? He's the millionaire boy. You know what I'm saying? Showtime's got to take it from him.
Yeah, I was actually surprised he didn't go with Bellator, but I mean, I think he sees an easier path to a mill. I mean, would you rather fight Natan Schulte or would you rather fight Patricio Pitbull?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, I think both sides could have been, because I think Patricio's going to have to, look, Patricio shouldn't even be worried about 55s right now. Patricio's hands are very full at 145. I mean, his next two, my God, are going to be, he's going to be hurt, after these next, if he can get through these next 2 fights, it ain't going to be unscathed. You know what I'm saying? It's going to, Manny ain't laying down for nothing, and neither is AJ McKee. So, Pitbull needs to be worried about that. And then I think he could have been fine in Bellator, man. I mean, Anthony Pettis versus Brent Primus. I mean, I know who I got. Anthony Pettis versus who's in the lightweight? Goiti Yamauchi. I know who I got. Pettis versus I know who I got. Fucking Pettis versus Derek Campos. I know who I got. You know what I'm saying? So
Pettis versus Benson trilogy.
Yeah, we already know who's gonna win that one. Benson's scared of Anthony. So yeah, I think he was fine either way. PFL might be the lighter side, I guess, but you gotta be careful because PFL signs these Russians out of nowhere, man. You gotta be, you don't want him to get matched up with a 20-0 Russian that we've never heard of. You know what I'm saying?
There's a new Magomedov in town that's like 18-0 fighting Showtime.
Yeah, it's like 36-0. Never heard of him, but now Showtime's in big fucking trouble.
Yeah. So fighters to watch in 2021. Obviously, we mentioned Jamal Hill. He's definitely someone to watch. I think he can go all the way. Personally, I already said I think he's a future top 5 guy. Also in his weight class, Jimmy Crute. I've always liked Jimmy Crute. I think he's getting better every single time we see him. He can go far. There's a kid fighting on the first card of the year, Dusko Todorovic, who's a stud, man. The kid's a workhorse. The kid's a dog. Actually knocked out Michelle Pereira on the regional scene. Just went right after Michelle Pereira, which no one usually does. So those are a few. Sodiq Yusuff, obviously, still high on him. It's a shame we only got to see him one time in 2020. I think it's like something with a visa issue. They didn't let him go to Fight Island, so he didn't get to fight Barboza. But those are some of the guys that I'm looking forward to seeing in 2021, Shaq.
Man, it's unfortunate they Edson got to fight Marquand that night because Sadiq would have probably put an end to that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, some of the guys in 2021, some other prospects. Well, this person's not a prospect, but my girl is about to be fighting for that title in 2021, and that's my girl Yan, not Chonan. I mean, look, we just passed our Claudia Gadelia test. We've passed every single test that we've had up to date. I'm assuming a fight with Joanna. I hear Carla Esparza might be getting the title shot. Maybe not. Maybe Rose actually does sign on. But, I'm assuming our next fight's Claudia or not Claudia, but Carla or Joanna. And, that fight will get Chonan to the title. Another person I'm looking forward to watch in 2021 is my boy Ione Barcelos. I mean, I've been hyping this guy up on this show for a very long time, and now he's finally getting his big name. I mean, he's fighting a Sun Tzu, early next year, and if you beat a Sun Tzu, I mean, you know where that leads to. So so I think Ione, another guy to keep an eye out for, has a very big fight. Not too many people talk about this guy, man, in the heavyweight division, but that's my boy Chris Daukaus, man. This guy in his 2 UFC fights. Man, this is how I describe my boy. Firstly, I haven't seen hand speed in a minute at heavyweight like Chris Daukaus. I mean, Parker Porter, it's funny because going in, I forget who did he fight in the second fight he won, Parker Porter. It was a good fight too. Fucking
the kid from Michigan.
Yeah, the kid from tall guy, like kind of does spins and shit.
Parisian.
Parisian. And you know, man, going into that fight, I'm like, I don't even know if I should count that against Parker Porter, bro, because I honestly think this dude Chris Dawkins might have the fastest hands in the heavyweight division. Ever since he took that loss to Anzu on the local scene, this dude has been dropping that fat, and I mean, he's pretty much turned into a real striker in that division, man. I feel, I mean, his hands are so fast. Parker Porter was in there saying, "Are y'all jumping me?" You know, my boy Nascimento was like, "Are y'all jumping me in here? What the hell's going on?" You know what I'm saying? Nascimento got smoked, man, and now he's got a matchup against Alexei Olenek. I'm not sure when the date is, but I mean that's a big step up because we know the type of guy Alexei is. I mean, he's got a fucking bunch of submissions, and it's a different type of matchup, man. And things could blow up in the heavyweight division fast. So you know, Chris Dawkins is a guy to keep an eye out for. Some of the fastest hands are going to see in the heavyweight division. So I think if he gets past Alexei, man, you could see him in there with, you know, the Arlovskis of the world. Matter of fact, I heard a rumor where, you know, your boy Aspinall might be fighting Arlovsky. So
see about to lose a split decision.
I mean, he hasn't fought shit, so I wouldn't be surprised. You know what I'm saying? Fucking, he's fought two absolute bums. So they better not disrespect my boy Andre Arlovsky. But
they're gonna disrespect him.
You know, he's gonna be like plus 500. You know what I'm saying? You know, he's gonna win a split. But yeah, man, Chris Dawkins, Ione Barcelos. I'm very looking forward to is that my boy Bernardo? That's my boy Bernardo from Brazil. Obrigado, Bernardo. But
he knows what's up with Ione.
Yeah, that's my hell yeah. Ione's the real deal, man. Amanda Ribas has a fight coming up here against my other girl Marina. This is unfortunate, but you know, Taporia, you know, he's up there as well. But you know, Taporia, man, keep an eye out for that kid. You know, he's a MMA Masters. But yeah, Ribas has a good fight, and unless Marina Rodriguez has fixed that wrestling problem, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, Amanda Ribas might be fighting for a title, you know, here as well. So yeah, I agree. Both Dawkinses are legit, Donald.
So obviously, all the people we mentioned, you also got to look out for this kid Miguel Baeza. I think he's really damn good at 100 pounds. He's good everywhere the fight goes. He's young.
Baeza's the real fucking deal, man.
Knockout artist. Like
people are saying Brady's the prospect at 170. I disagree, man. It's Miguel, bro. Miguel's serious, bro.
They don't know how good Baeza is, man. I'm telling you.
And now and I actually heard this interview with the coach of their gym, Brazilian guys. I don't know their names, but I'm from MMA Masters. And you know, because you know Covington's training there now, and he was like one of the main reasons why they, you know, accepted Covington is because, you know, their prize Jim Miguel Baeza would now get to go with the number 2 welterweight in the world every day now. So, you know, now Miguel's game's about to just be going. I mean, he's training with Covington, you know, as his main training partner this early in his career. Oh my God, bro. He's about to start fucking these dudes up.
And they like each other too, which is good.
Yeah, they're like boys and shit. So, and speaking, I'm gonna get to their gym in a little bit, man. That gym, they got Covington, Baeza, you know, Taporia's there now. You know,
that
they
kid
got Chavez is fighting Gordon. He won his fight. They got Rafael Alves from Contender Series. You know what I'm saying? So MMA Masters, they're booming. Lamas, the legend, you know, he's retired, but now they got the new guys to take over.
Obviously, Kevin Holland, you guys already know the deal. Watch out for Kevin Holland. He's, you know, doing big things. Howley and Paiva, the kid tore his ACL, but he's still one of my top flyweight prospects. I think that when he comes back, he's going to make some noise. Obviously, Drew Dober, that dude's been paying his dues. He's going to have a big year. You got Merab Dawalishvili. He's definitely been doing his thing. Even Chito Vera, I know he's coming off a loss, but I don't think that he got his ass beat or anything. I actually think the fight went according to plan until he got stuck in that third round. You know, he kind of props to Aldo for weaseling that one out, but it was 1-1 going into the third. Chito got a little bit over aggressive and then kind of just got stuck. But I still think he's a top 15 guy, and I think he's going to win a lot of fights too. And I actually think that he's going to benefit from being in 5-round fights down the line. I see Chito Vera being a 5-round kind of guy. And then lastly, Casey Kenny. He's fighting Dominic Cruz. You get a win over Dominic Cruz. You know that's a huge deal, Shaq. You know the only people to ever beat Dominic Cruz are Henry Cejudo, Uriah Faber, and Cody Garbrandt. And, you know, all those guys have touched gold in one way or another. So if Casey Kenny gets this win, that's going to be huge, man.
Yeah, man, I like that kid Casey. Been liking him for a long time. I remember back when he used to be on LFA, my boy Pat Miletich did say, if anybody's going places, it's Casey Kenny. So, you know, now he a few years later down the line, I mean, now he's fighting Cruz. So, you know, I'm excited for that fight.
Definitely. So breakthrough fighter of the year. So not the fighter of the year, but the breakthrough fighter of the year. The guy that really, you know, he's been doing his thing, but 2020 was the year he broke through. I'm gonna go with Kevin Holland, man. You know, he's been doing his thing for a long time. He's been paying his dues forever, but 2020 he had a massive year, and I feel like if he can, you know, continue that momentum and keep it up, he could possibly be a superstar with his personality, with the finishes that he's getting, and just everything he brings to the table. So he's my breakthrough fighter of 2020.
Yeah, man, my breakthrough fighter. And I kind of wanted this to be my fighter of the year, also kind of, but it's gonna be the legendary Polish power, my boy Jan Blachowicz. I mean, Daniel, I remember at one point in time, Jan Blachowicz fighting for a title, like. You would have had to fucking. That would have been like what?
Like, the guy that lost to Pat Cummins.
A guy that lost to Pat Cummins. I mean, remember the Igor the Duke fight? I mean, Blachowicz, man, he's come a long way, man. I mean, then he knocks out Corey Anderson early in the year as a big underdog. You know, sends Corey to Bellator. You know, Dominic Reyes thought he had a. Someone told Dominic Reyes he was the uncrowned champion, and Blachowicz had to set him straight and you know really show him what that Polish power is about. And I love how people try to say, "What Polish power? He doesn't have any power. He jabs and runs and shit." Like, and just ask my boy Luke Rockhold about. I mean, I know Luke's got no chin, but you know what I'm saying. But I mean, you know, Luke ain't fought since, but man, he's the breakthrough fighter just because. I remember going into that Devin Clark fight, he had lost 4 out of 5. I mean, it was the last fight on his contract. If he didn't win, he was going to get cut. And I mean, since then, man, he beat Cannonier, he beat Jacare, he beat Rockhold, former champ, he beat Corey Anderson, top 5 guy. I mean, you know, Dominic Reyes, who some people thought beat John Jones. So, you know, this guy, that's what you call a breakthrough, man. He's an official UFC champion. And, you know, his 2021's about to get, you know, geared up in a big way. He's fighting, you know, he's got to stop Izzy from getting these 2 belts. So, you know, we'll see what happens.
Definitely. Another honorable mention for breakthrough fighter of the year. I got to go Drew Dober, man. He's a guy who, like you like to talk about, one day was all going to pay off, and it's been paying off in 2020. Knocks out Nasrat Haqparast, knocks out Alex Hernandez. Now he's got this big fight against Islam Makhachev, who no one else wants to fight. So Drew Dober finally getting rewarded for his hard work, Shaq.
Yeah, Dober. I mean, I like that guy a lot. He better be ready to sprawl. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, Islam ain't, you know, is what Islam's looking to do. You know what I'm saying? So Dober better get ready.
So the underdog of 2020. This was actually a tough one for me. I went with Charles Oliveira, man. Both of his fights this year, he was the underdog against Kevin Lee and against Tony Ferguson. And I feel like he really shined in that role, and he's really coming into his own. And he's always had the potential. I mean, we've always seen the finishes from him, but now we're seeing the consistency, and we're seeing that he's a force to be reckoned with. He's a legit top 3 guy in the lightweight division, which is the most stacked division in the entire sport. So I think he was the underdog of 2020, Charles do Bronx Oliveira.
What do you mean by underdog? Like,
just like someone that was priced the dog that won, whether it was one performance, whether it was multiple performances, someone that was counted out.
Just like
came through.
Okay, just like in one fight, like situation.
Yeah, of 2020.
Okay, well.
Like Glover Teixeira.
That's one. I'll say my boy Verdum is up there, you know, against Gustafsson, because I mean, remember that fight before that he is always an underdog, Bobby. I don't get it either. I had to capitalize when he fought Reyes. But yeah, I'd say Verdum, because you remember that fight against Alexian, man. I mean, he was like, I mean, people were like, Verdum, like, did you even train? Like, Verdum looked like he didn't even want to fight that night, man. And he still lost the split. You know what I'm saying? And then he was like a huge underdog. What were the odds? Plus 300, plus something. You know what I'm saying? Big dog against Alexander Gustafsson. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, guys out here getting tapped, getting broken by Anthony Smith and these other guys, man. So I mean, we took advantage. I don't know, but fucking hey, that was the underdog of the year.
Alexander Stuntsovson. So best bet of 2020. So speaking of Werdum, I would say that the biggest underdog I bet on in 2020 was Werdum at plus 300. I'd say that's probably the best bet of the whole year. I mean, plus 300 on Werdum against Gustafsson, who got tapped the fight right before. And that Werdum had so much criticism from that Olenek fight. So he came in right for that Gustafsson fight. That's probably my favorite bet of the year. Plus 300 on Werdum against Gustafsson. First round finish.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably it. That's up there. I'd say even though, he was a bit 2-1 favorite, I still think the Cejudo one, because there was a lot of, back and forth opinions going to that, man. I mean, to have the confidence to land against Cruz. I mean, it's Dom, this and that, like he's all this shit. But yeah, that could I mean, it was easy money as far as I was concerned. I mean, another one up there is man. Yeah, I'd say Verdum and Cejudo.
Another one I really like was Jamal Hill against Clidson and against OSP. Like, I was just so confident that he was going to win, and to see him perform how I thought he was capable of performing, or even surpassing those expectations, it just feels good when your reads are really on point with undiscovered talent. A kid with less than 10 pro fights, undefeated, which is, like, to a lot of people a good thing. To me, is oftentimes a red flag. It just means they haven't fought the right people yet. So I feel like I scouted a really good undefeated prospect in Jamal Hill. So the 2 bets I made on him this year, I'm really happy about. Now, worst bet of 2020. So for me, the worst bet for me is every fucking time I bet against Andrei Arlovsky. For some reason, I keep thinking that these guys are just going to come out here, knock him out, touch him one time. Let's go home. Let's cash this check. And he goes out there against Philippe Lins, wins the decision. He goes out there against Tanner Boser, wins the decision. Every time I bet against Andrei Arlovsky and lose, it's the worst bet of 2020 for me, Shaq.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I mean, losing to an old man like that must suck. It's like, God damn it.
Like 3-10 in the last 13, and I can't catch against him.
Hey, Aspinall's next, so you'll get your opportunity again. You want minus 300, 400?
How much am I going to lose on Aspinall?
Aspinall, throw. Tom, throw. But yeah,
29-28, Arlovsky.
Then you hear the 30-27, and you just go ahead and walk away from the TV. But yeah, my worst bet, I'll say man, I was on Macy Barber earlier this year. That was a nightmare. Fucking what's another one? Man, recently, this kid Kamaka against JSP. JSP looked good. I ain't even gonna lie though. He was a big favorite though. He got finished. What was another one? At least I wasn't on Agapova. I mean, imagine how you would feel if you were Agapova. You know what I'm saying? In that fight. Yeah, I'd say those 2. I got one. Pedro Munoz against Frankie, because it was controversial, and sure, yeah, I still think Pedro slightly edged, but I mean, just the fact that that line was kind of wide to trust Pedro. Yeah, he shouldn't have made it that close, and Pedro is one of the more sloppier, guys in that division. So in terms of the top guys, I'm not saying the whole, like in terms of the top 10, because I always get these things saying I'm disrespecting people, but I think Frankie, yeah, man, that was a bad bet mindset. I mean, can't trust Pedro like that. Who's another one? Man, Marina Rodriguez, that was a bad one too. Just because, Daniel, would you? Yeah, I don't know why dudes go against Arlovsky, man. My boy Arlovsky, he's got an anti-aging clinic or something, man, because he can take punches still. Like, I don't get, like, he takes these flush chin shots. I'm like, damn, he still take them. But man, Marina is against Esparza because, just you got the girl in the top 10 with the worst takedown defense versus the girl with the most takedowns in the history of that division. You know what I'm saying? And even though it was another controversial close fight, it was just very, very frustrating, especially in those late rounds. You know what I'm saying? Some of those takedowns she was giving up from far out. So, yeah, I'd say those.
Jobber of the year. So I'm going to let you take this one first. Last year, you said Chris Weidman was the 2019 Jobber of the year. I'm actually really curious to see if we have the same one. Just so the fans know, Shaq and I have not shared any of our selections at all. We're all finding out as we go. So who is your Jobber of 2020?
My Jobber of 2020, man, there's a lot of options. It's between, I'd say 3 people are probably at the running. That would be Tyron Woodley. Number 2 would be, I would say, Sean O'Malley. And just because O'Malley, like, he keeps running his mouth, and it's like, bro, your legs are weak. Like, fucking, like, Cody's got no chin and you got no legs, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I didn't like his tweet this past weekend when Cheeto lost. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, kid, shut. Like, I hope they match him up with another calf kicker. But oh man, Volante's up there. Volante is definitely up there. Man, I'm gonna say Woodley just because, like, I can't feel sorry for Woodley. I know people are all feeling sorry for Woodley now, but I don't feel sorry for him, Dan. And it's like, well, Bobby, Matt Wyman, and Phillips, I mean, we already knew those dudes suck. So, kind of can't use them. But, like, Woodley, I don't feel, because, Dan, we've seen in first person how this dude was acting when he was the champ, or, on his run to the title. Like, I've seen him be Hollywood. Like I've seen him, shun the fans away. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I don't feel sorry for Woodley. 0 for 15 on his rounds. Now I'm seeing articles where he's saying he's trying to find his motivation back. And
firstly, he posted on his Snapchat that he was cut.
Firstly, he says cut on his Snapchat. Then you say you need your motivation back. I mean, I'm trying to get this fight with him and Tim Means getting. I'm trying to get that fight going. I mean,
bro, did you see Tim comment on there?
Yeah, I mean, I knew he would eventually. I was like, he'll respond to this. I mean, you tell Tim Means that he's gonna get knocked out. You don't think he's gonna respond? You know what I'm saying? And I disagree with that. I think Tim Means would absolutely smack Woodley around, but that's just me. So I'm trying to get that fight going. Hopefully, Woodley needs a tune-up fight. If he's gonna, and by tune-up fight, I mean not a prospect, not Miguel Baeza. Not Brady, not fucking,
It's like he's gonna have to take a massive pay cut if he wants to fight lower competition.
That alimony ain't taking no pay cut, man. Fucking, then child support ain't taking no pay cut, man. So,
and who's the welterweight champion in PFL?
Ray Cooper.
What do you think about? Hey, Ray Cooper would throw more punches. Anyone that'll actually throw punches is going to beat Woodley.
Ray Cooper would fuck Woodley up, man. Fucking. So yeah, that's my Jobber of the year. Yeah, Woodley, close second place. You got O'Malley. You got man, give me one. Who's it? who's been making a man? I could say Reyes, man, to be honest, Dominic Reyes, because
Yeah.
that kid's head blew up to a point after the Jones fight, man. It was kind of sad, and now I feel like he's possibly put himself in a corner where he might not get out of, because I hear he's fighting the dude from the Czech Republic. I don't know how to say his last name, but Jerry, the dude that knocked out. The dude that knocked out Ozdemir and made Nemkov quit. You know that guy. But yeah, man, Reyes is up there, O'Malley, but the winner's got to be Tyron Woodley.
Yeah, that was actually mine as well. I mean, Woodley's got to be the jobber of the year. The kind of stuff he was talking before both the Burns and the Colby fights, and the extent he took it to in the Colby fight was just unlike anything I've ever seen before. Like, to talk the game he talked and to go perform the way he performed.
I remember he was saying shit. He was saying shit that Covington was his warm-up round in training. Like, you believe that shit?
Like, I just couldn't believe the extent he took it to, and then to come out there and like not even throw a punch. It was just like, he's got to be the number one spot for jobber of the year. There's not even a close second. The close second is not even a fighter. It's got to be Chris Lee for fucking up all those fucking scorecards throughout the pandemic. Chris Lee, you're honorable mention for jobber of the year.
I mean, you could even he scored at 48-47 Felder. Enough said, you know what I'm saying? Like, I bet on I was one of the people that bet on RDA, and I literally had I was like, wait, what? Like, a split decision? Like, Paul Felder got his ass whooped. Like, all shout outs to Paul for taking the fight. RDA was picking him up, and like, you remember the round that RDA picked him up and high crouched him in the air. Chris Lee scored that round for Paul Felder. Oh man, yeah. Lucas is right. Mike Perry might be in that running, man. Mike Perry is definitely. Mike Perry's a fucking clown. Let's just be honest here. Like, I've been telling you this for how long. For years. That Mike Perry's a complete even when he was popular, I was telling you the dude was a fucking joke. And now everyone's starting to see it. It was only a matter of time, and I hope Mike gets his shit together, man, because I actually did think he fought hard the last one, and he's a tough guy. It's sad that he says all this dumb shit. And yes, Natan Schultz probably would beat T Wood, whoever said that, but I feel like he's actually second place.
I heard from people that train with Perry that not only did he leave the gym shack, he also left planet Earth. So I hear there's a lot of things.
I heard he was knocking out former teammates and coaches and shit.
That's putting it lightly. That's among the people he's knocked out. So
yeah, man, it's like, dude, this dude is he's knocking out old people and shit. Like
that's also putting it lightly.
A dude that knocked out not knocked out, but beat Paul Felder and knocked out Hot Chocolate Roberts and beat Alex Cowboy Oliveira and all these fucking people is literally out here punching old men.
Yeah. Shout out to my boy Marcus. Check out the Nubian Bookstore here in Atlanta, Georgia. What's up, Marcus? So, man.
Did you just say the Nubian Bookstore?
Yeah, you know about it?
Nah, but you reading books on my Marcus Williams? Damn, they got like what, African American books? What's going on? What's going on?
He's got a badass bookstore. He's representing, so always happy to shout him out.
In Atlanta?
Yeah, in ATL. So.
Oh really? That's what's up.
Dude's awesome. So, all right, now we got to talk about the stunt of the year. So the 2020 stunt of the year. I know the other night, and I know this might be a little bit of recency bias, but I know Arroyo really tried his best to go out there, and he wanted that stunt of the year award so badly, Shaq. He really tried his best to get it. And then Greg Hardy was like, Antonio, hold my beer. And then Greg Hardy pulled one of the bigger stunts that I've seen in a long time. I was shocked.
Greg Hardy didn't pull a stunt; he just quit.
Bro, I was shocked.
Bro, he looked so good in the first round to just quit like that. Like, I was like, "What are you doing, dude? Like, get up, Greg, get up."
I have never seen a stunt like Greg Hardy's stunt, like, because he looked so damn good in the first round. We're like, wow, this is the best Greg's ever looked, and he's doing it against a legit guy in Tybura, and then all of a sudden he's on the mat, and it's like, wait, it's like, Greg, wait, don't, no, get up, please, wait.
Get up, Greg.
He just covered up. You just covered up as soon as the fight hit the mat. I was like, wait, Greg, no, Greg, please. But so I gotta go Hardy, but another one that I think's got to make the list is Maria Agapova. I don't know if you remember, but prior to her fighting Shayna Dobson, when either Bruce Buffer or Joe Martinez was introducing her, you know, she's doing this whole like rapper fucking gimmick thing, and it was like they got a gif of it, man. It was like some cringe-worthy shit, and then she went out there and pulled that stunt. So
they told her she was Joanna after her debut, and they gave her that $50K, and then she, you know, went off the deep end.
She snorted that $50K away, and now 3 and 4 fighters are getting bonuses off of her, you know?
Yeah, man, my year, and I got a few. So, one of my stunts is Mirsad Bektik against Damon Jackson. I mean, that kid Mirsad is literally I think he might be a part of the 60 coming up here shortly. You know, a part of the 60 getting cut. I mean, from what I was seeing, I mean, if he would have slid, and it's not the first time he's done this, you know what I'm saying? If he would have just stood up with Damon Jackson, he probably could have knocked him out. I mean, Damon Jackson is a stiff. I mean, as we saw in his last fight against Topuria, you know what I'm saying? And Mirsad literally was out there, you know, forcing takedowns, and well, I'll get to that in a second, my boy Bobby. But yeah, I think. Sorry, what was I just talking about again? But yeah, Mirsad Bektik. Yeah, man. I just think he was forcing the takedowns, and it was just like, dude, like, do you not understand? This is the best part of this dude's game. Like, what is Damon Jackson known for? Like, it sure ain't knocking people out. You know what I'm saying? It's the grappling, the submission game, and Mirsad, man, that kid, I think he deserves to be cut, and I think he will be cut. So that was a stunt. Another stunt happened recently was Peter Barrett and yeah, man, Mirsad's a you know, he's something else. But yeah, Peter Barrett versus Chase Super. I mean, Peter Barrett. I mean, that was something else. I mean, you know that. I mean, you're up 2 rounds, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? You let this tiny little kid grab a leg lock and get you out of here. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that was embarrassing for Peter Barrett. Another stunt, man. I don't know if I want to say they're stunts, but it's just because I know this is gonna make some people mad, but these are these are like repetitive patterns that I see, man. And one of them is Angela Hill and all these decision losses, because I consider them stunts because she's getting up and like she starts off the fight with a big lead. And you know, like, I mean, she's coming out there, I mean, throwing, you know, caution to the wind, dropping Gadelia, hurting Michelle, you know what I'm saying, doing all this stuff. And then it's like every single fight she fights a real person, then she loses the remaining 3 rounds. It's like Angela, you're doing it again. Angela, you're doing it again. Angela, stop.
And then she cries robbery.
And then she loses the decision. It's like a repetitive thing I keep seeing. It's like, Angela, you're doing it again. You're letting her weasel these rounds, like, and then, you know, she wants to throw a hissy fit. Another stunt, man. Hardy's up there. I don't consider Arroyo a stunt. I mean, that guy just sucks.
Roshkov.
Well, that kid didn't belong in the UFC, in my opinion. Like, he was a short notice call.
I know, but
and he was getting.
If someone laid like -170 on him and he doesn't even answer the bell and he's hyped up to be this fucking
why the fuck would you?
phenom.
I picked Hubbard going into that fight, but I was like, you know, this is the problem in MMA. We always want to create the next big thing, you know, out of these prospects that have, you know, absolutely done fucking nothing. Like Max Roshkov had fought absolutely nobody. And, you know, they put him in. Hubbard's a jobber, but, you know, you put Hubbard in there with a kid that don't belong. I mean, now it's gonna get ugly. Look, Tez, I want to see Roshkov get an extra shot too, but not in the UFC. We have something down here called the NFC. I would love for for Rashkov to fight in Georgia. I'm sure he's not, not where's he from? I'm not sure, but
I'll just tell you this: he doesn't want a second chance in the UFC, my friend. So don't
yeah.
I'll tell you that
I mean,
he ain't trying to fight in the UFC.
I mean, if Austin Hubbard's out here breaking them, Tez, I mean, I could only, if somebody else got his hands on him, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Nah, Michelle Pereira versus Tristan was last year, right? That was last year, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah, man, that was unfortunate because Nick,
so much better than that guy.
That's one of the fights where I forget we were kind of saying it's like Tyler Santos and Mara Barella. Like I don't even consider that, and I hate to ruin the Canadian the parade for Tristan, but he ain't winning another UFC fight. Like Michelle Pereira didn't lose to Tristan. Michelle Pereira lost to Michelle Pereira. I mean, that was the kid. I forget who he was supposed to fight, but Tristan was a late notice replacement, if I'm not mistaken. And Michelle missed weight. I mean, I think he got sidetracked. I mean, his life had changed, in a big way.
Saw that shit.
Yeah, I mean, the kids bro, they're literally out there doing backflips and dancing and, getting the crowd going. Like, Michelle wasted 15 minutes of cardio on the walkout alone. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, oh, man, so unfortunately, guys, y'all know that Tristan Connolly parade is coming to an end. And now we see where my boy my boy Michelle Pereira is at, man. He should have 3 wins in a row as far as I'm concerned. Diego, he got out of his ass whooping, hey, get your money, man.
So the rivalry of the year. So it's funny because my 2 picks, these 2 didn't even fight each other yet, but they're going to be big fights in 2021. So the first one is Colby and Jorge Masvidal. I mean, what's interesting about this rivalry is that obviously, they're friends turned enemies, and we got footage of them wrestling in their apartment back in the day, and now they're going to fight. And also I hear that they're trying to get them to coach the Ultimate Fighter, but Jorge might be asking for a little something extra. So we'll see what happens.
Jorge's being a diva.
Yeah. And then my other rivalry of the year is Izzy and Bones. I mean, you got just 2 undefeated alpha male specimen fighters, just freak athletes, 2 of the best to ever do it. I mean, you got to see that fight. I mean, someone's O's actually got to go in a fight like that. It's crazy. So those are my rivalries: Colby versus George, Izzy versus Bones.
Yeah, man, I like those. My rivalries, it's not no sort of 2 people. It's one guy versus, and that's just the life my boy Cejudo has bought him into that bantamweight division. I mean, now every day we see Henry going at Peter Yan and Aljamain. I mean, you can catch them on Twitter, about every other day talking shit to each other in some type of form. I mean, I know he called Peter the little Russian boy, and Peter, and he was saying shit like, bro, your last one was Uriah Faber. Shut up. You know what I'm saying? This was before the Aldo fight. So, yeah, I like the bantamweight division trash talk. And another rivalry that bounced off, that happened off of that was my boy Sugar Sean and Cody No Love. I mean, these 2 have been talking so much shit that I want to see them fight now, man. Like fucking, you know what I'm saying? I know Cody's, a former champion, and he's quite honestly beyond that. But, I mean, he was off a 3-fight KO loss streak. I know that a Sunset one went viral, but I hope O'Malley can get like a win or something, and maybe Cody takes a loss, and maybe they can do it that fight. Because I mean, Cody's out here saying, Sean, I'll have her free. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they've had some words. You know what I'm saying? They've had another rivalry brewing up, is the one between my boy Trailblazer and Brunson. I mean, I don't know if you've been seeing them 2 go at it on social media. You know what I'm saying? Daniel, Brunson doesn't do good in these type of fights where it's emotional like this. You know what I'm saying? Kevin's already in his head, but yeah, man, I'm looking forward to that fight in 2021 as well.
So the coach and gym of the year. So coach or gym of the year. So one that I'm pretty sure you're actually going to have on your list that I want to have on mine too. They always fly under the radar is MMA Masters. Have they taken an L this year? I mean, they've been
I
pretty
think they went,
perfect.
I think they I think they had a in terms of UFC fights, they went undefeated, but they did have someone on Contender Series lose, but that kind of doesn't really count.
But UFC, they went undefeated, right?
Yeah, because Taporia went undefeated. Baeza, Covington, Sanchez, Alves, Lamas. Did Lamas
Chavez.
did he fight twice this year?
Yeah, he
Did
fought
he just fight
Algio.
once twice this year, Lama?
Algio, yeah.
Just once? Okay, so yeah, he went undefeated. Yeah, man. They're my team to look out for in 2021, man, because everyone in the gym's got big opportunities coming up.
Definitely. And also I want to give a honorable mention to Tyson Chartier. You know, obviously he coaches Rob Font and Calvin Cater, and to see the kind of progress that those guys have been making,
Man,
you know, Rob Font just knocked out Marlon Moraes. Calvin Cater's about to fight Max Holloway. And he's got some other up and comers on his roster. He's one of the coaches to look out for.
yeah, man. Chartier, he's not just a coach, but he's a manager as well. And those aren't his only two guys. I mean, he's got William Knight got a win earlier this year as one of his guys, and Parker Porter just had a upset win. That's another one of his guys. Randy Costa, he's another one of his guys, and Randy Costa had a knockout win earlier this year. But man, I'm gonna go with I don't need. Well, they train in Thailand, but they're all Kazakhs and Russians, and that's that Tiger Muay Thai team, man. That's team with Peter Yan, Fiziev, Ismagulov, Masvar. Well, Masvar, they kind of do both. He's been at ATT a little bit too, but his original team was them. Masvar, Arman Sarukian, and also back and forth at ATT, but. Hey man, that manager, yeah, actually we follow each other on Twitter. His name's Shavkat or something like that. Kazakhstani Russian guy. He's actually partners with Rubinstein. But yeah, his team's solid, man. Fiziev should be hitting these rankings here, very soon. We already said Peter Yan's the champion. He got his first champion this year. And they got a bunch of little prospects like Sarukin and Masvar and all these guys, man. So, keep an eye out for them. Ismagulov should be making his return. His manager told me he's been recovering from injury. He had a surgery, a few months back. So he should be coming back. And there's a couple of other guys I'm forgetting, man. But yeah, I'll say that team. But coach, I don't know their names, but they're the MMA Masters coaches. And an honorable mention. I'll say, what about what's it, Coach Eugene, my boy from New England, not New England, but City Kickboxing, because even though they did have some losses with France and Hooker, the Hooker fight, man, I don't think he was really a loser in that fight. I know he did get fucked up pretty bad, but I feel like his stock kind of went up. I think his stock went up in a loss, and you can't complain. And then Izzy, they had a guy on Contender Series 2 get a knockout win. I mean, even though France lost, it was fight of the night. So with Roy Val. So I mean, even in their losses, they're getting paid. You know what I'm saying?
So the comeback of the year. So for me, my comeback of the year, I got to go with John Jones against Dominic Reyes. Those first two rounds started, and it really looked like this guy is about to come out here and dethrone the great John Jones. Like Shaq was sitting next to me. He knows how nervous I was. I don't even know if I had a bet on John. I don't remember, but I know I was rooting for John. And I was so like, holy shit, he's about to lose. And then John pulled it out, man, those last three rounds. So I still think that's one of the best comebacks of the year. So I got to go with John over Reyes.
Comeback of the year, man. So this is just like getting your ass whipped the entire and then you pull off a comeback.
Or coming off a layoff and winning a big fight, some kind of comeback. Like Cody Garbrandt had a comeback. He's coming off 3 knockout losses.
Man, I'll say comeback of the year. Man, I see a lot of people saying the Dariush one, but that wasn't a comeback because he won the first round against Jakar. I'll say, man, there's got to be a fight where somebody was like,
Ooh, Alex Volkanovski
uh,
against Max Holloway.
yeah, there we go. Because because I ain't gonna lie, them first 2 rounds, boy, I was like, Volk, bro, we need to we need to no, I don't want to hear none of that who said that. But yeah, man, Poirier, you could say too, because he got down. Even though I thought one of the rounds was close, I think it was the first round. I guess you could say because that end of the second round, Hooker knees from Hooker are scary. And he almost got up there and knocked Dustin out towards the end of the second round. Yeah. And yeah, I'll say that one, and I'll say I was just thinking about it. Fuck. We'll come back on that one. Man, I went blank there. But yeah, I'll just say Volkanovski for coming back and defending his belt for coming after those 2 rounds. Because those first 2 rounds, how many times did he get dropped? Like 2 or 3? And then I know it was very controversial. Rodriguez over Grant was a good cut knocked out there. But you'll say Volkanovski and Holloway in the rematch.
I definitely got to give some love to Beneil Dariush. I mean, it's not your typical comeback. It was more so like a sequence kind of comeback, but still, it's good to see him coming back in terms of his career, because he was once viewed as like, remember when he beat Michael Johnson back when Michael Johnson was the number 5 guy on planet Earth. So Beneil was up there, and then he had a little bit of a skid, and people wrote him off, and now he's like back in his best form to date. So Beneil Dariush has definitely made a bit of a career comeback. And some of these fights have had comebacks in them. So I got to give a shout out to Beneil Dariush as well. So the current pound for pound number 1 fighter on the UFC roster, Shaq. So I still got to go with the one and only Johnny Bones Jones. I had my little fun calling Khabib number 1 when he retired, just because it was dope to see a dude, retire undefeated, go out on top. But since he's currently officially retired, even though I think he's going to come back and fight, he's allegedly retired. John Jones is still there, man. So it's between Jones and Izzy for me. I'll go with John Jones right now.
Yeah, well, I'll pick Khabib just because if he's officially or officially not, just because there is no blemishes on that record, and John Jones, in the hypothetically, I guess, could still be considered this, but I got to give it to Khabib for this year, man, just because, we didn't, barely beat, an 8-0 guy, we didn't, he went out there and made Justin Gaethje, look like an absolute amateur. He made Dustin Poirier, tap out, Conor McGregor was 19, right? Yeah. So, yeah, those just to dominate those 2 guys, man, is super impressive. No questions asked. Jones is great, man, and if he goes up to heavyweight and wins that belt, there'll be no questions asked. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So Hudo's up there too, but he's retired, so I guess we can't use him. But yeah, I'll go with Khabib. So I get a different vibe, man. When he was going in that cage for Gaethje, I get a different vibe. I feel like we were all like witnessing something special, man. I feel like it was like, man, this is like truly a once in a lifetime. I'm not saying that I don't see that with Jones. I just haven't felt in a while with him. You know what I'm saying? I feel like part of it's just due to the lack of like real contender in that division. So it's not all his fault. But yeah, man, I'll go with Khabib.
My boy M-Test wanted to bring the jokes to this holiday season's year-end show.
Oh man, that's the funniest thing. Hey, M-Test,
that's a good one.
M-Test, your boy didn't want the trilogy fight, man. He wanted to go fight Japs with shoes on. Hey, I don't blame him.
I just want to smoke whatever my boy is smoking, because that shit is some loud. You know what I mean? So I got to give him a shout out. But man, fight of the year for 2020. I think it's a no-brainer. At the end of the day, I know we've had some good ones, but Wiley and Joanna, I was on the edge of my seat. Even though I didn't think it was as close as people thought. I thought that Wiley went out there and she hit Joanna so hard in the head that Joanna grew another head on her head. But it was such a great fight. It's either between that or Dustin and Hooker. And the issue I have with that fight is that after a certain point, it kind of became one-sided. Dustin was just whooping his ass after he got through the initial, couple, round storm that Hooker had. So, and then Davison and Brandon Moreno, I kind of disagree with the judges. I thought it was a 4-1 victory for Davison. So my pick is Wiley versus Joanna.
My boy Derek clearly had it right.
Yeah, one person had it right. Even with the point deduction, Davison wins that fight on my scorecard. So,
yeah, man, it was a travesty. That Judge Camijo should be ashamed of himself for scoring that 5th round for Moreno. I mean, it was his card that fucked it all up. So, yeah, my fight of the year, Joanna and Zhang was definitely up there. I'll go with Poirier and Hooker just because, man. Yeah, it did get one-sided towards the end. I mean, I know there was a 10-8 round, if I'm not mistaken, maybe the 4th or something like that for Dustin. But them first 2 rounds, man, I mean, them dudes are out there. And them, like I said, them Hooker knees, man. Hooker might be the scariest weapon in the lightweight division because every time he throws them, I just hold my breath. I'm like, oh, my God, don't let him, like, you know what I'm saying? And my boy Chandler better be ready. For the knees up the middle, you know what I'm saying?
Chandler's the perfect height for that knee right up the middle.
Oh man, he better not get tired, boy. He better not cook her out in the because fucking if this shit starts hitting that fatigue state, man, one of them knees will get through. But yeah, man, I'll say Poirier and Hooker, man, just because the early on in that fight, man, I ain't seen exchanges like that. And I know, and he is the king of the words, Bernardo. And I know Hooker was talking a lot, before that fight with Dustin. But man, I earned a lot of respect for Hooker because I mean, hey, he talked a lot of shit. He tried to back it up. He tried. You know what I'm saying? He low key. I mean, that boy's high key chinny, Bobby.
There's old news around these streets.
We've been knowing that, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, that's my fight. But yeah, Wang's in Joanna. I mean, like you said, a head grew on top of Joanna's head. So I mean, I remember seeing her face a couple weeks after that. She still had even like a month after that, she still had marks from that fight. So, that fight was legendary.
So last but not least, the fighter of the year. So I think there's only a couple worthy options, but I'm going to let you take it first, man. Who is your 2020 fighter of the year?
Man, I wanted to pick Blachowicz, but he's more of a breakthrough guy. I'll pick, man, it's a tough one. It's between 3 guys. That's Khabib Nurmagomedov to go out, if he's actually retired, to go out the way that he did. Like I said, I've never seen Justin Gaethje look more lost in the cage, ever in my life. Now I know when Dustin fought him, I was mad that Dustin, in between rounds was saying, I can't get him off me. I was like, Dustin, don't say that shit. But then now I see why. I mean, he was like, bro, I can't get him off me. Like, you know what I'm saying? I just can't, and I mean, Gaethje found out quick. So yeah, it's between him, Kevin Holland. I mean, he started this year coming off a very, very embarrassing finish loss to Brendan Allen. I mean, a fight that I'll still never understand because I'm just one of those people that believes if they fight 10 times that Kevin Holland will win the rest. But, Kevin Holland, apparently he said he was rolling too many blunts before that fight. And he said, he told Felder that he kind of, after that fight, he had to slow down a little bit because, he was embarrassed. And I mean, what he did to Fluffy Hernandez, finishing him less than a minute. I know there was a couple bums like the guy, the Chia Pet guy. He looks like a Chia Pet. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, that guy. I know he fought him, but the fight with Darren Stewart was a good fight, back and forth. And then, the Joaquin Buckley fight, who we thought was just some, off the street newcomer, you know what I'm saying? Turns out Buckley's pretty good himself as well. And, Kevin was talking to him the entire time. I mean, he was like, what happened to all that talk, Buckley? What happened to all that talk? And, Buckley was in there, pretty much just asking Kevin for forgiveness before he got knocked out. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, Kevin Holland, and the third option I'll say is Adesanya, man. I mean, the dude's like a budgeting star. I mean, he's got the opportunity to get 2 belts, and like I said, I mean, the dude had the #1 video on Pornhub for like a week after that that he did. I mean, like I said, that they were using the hashtag Black under Costa's IG for weeks, man. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm gonna pick Khabib, man. I just the way he went out that last fight, man. I was in awe of that performance because I was one of the people. I didn't pick Gaethje to win, but I was like, it could be a good fight. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we're talking about Justin Gaethje here, for Christ's sake. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people were taking dog shots on Justin Gaethje at those odds, and it did turn out to be a waste of money because I mean, Khabib went out there and made the dude look like that, and he was coming off his Abdul Manap passing away. I mean, we know all the respect we have for Abdul Manap. I mean, Abdul Manap. I mean, dude, you see all these Russians are missing weight now because Abdul Manap's not there. You know what I'm saying? If Abdul Manap was there, he'd have these dudes, in tip-top shape. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that was the performance. He's the fighter of the year, and man, I hope. I mean, if he wants to give up the 155 belt, that'll be nice. Dustin and Connor could run it for it, or somebody else, maybe a Duke Bronx. But the division will move on anyways. But man, that he's my fighter of the year.
Yeah, I mean, definitely up there. Real quick, back to the comeback of the year. You gotta give a mention to Sean Strickland, coming off that motorcycle accident, coming back and winning 2 fights, up a weight class now. So he's definitely one of the comeback fighters of the year. But back to fighter of the year. So, I mean, you mentioned some good ones. You mentioned Kevin Holland, Israel Adesanya, Khabib, Jan Blachowicz. But what about Davison Dice Ugea Figueiredo? I mean, this man became the champion this year. And the only thing that sucks is that there's been some controversy, like he missed weight
I'm tired of this whole thing that like people really think he was in a tie with Moreno. Like, come on.
That shit was no tie, firstly, but and the best thing about it was everyone that was talking about, Davison's, gassing issues. Who won the 5th round? Davison won the 5th round.
Who folded in the 5th?
So, I mean, look, it sucks that he missed weight for the first Benavidez fight, and it sucks that one judge fucked up the scorecard and called that shit a draw because that shit was no draw. It was 4-1 for Davison Figueiredo. But I still think he's up there for fight of the year or fighter of the year, man. He brought back violence to the flyweight division. He made 125 great against Shaq. So do you remember when DJ was champ, they were talking about shutting down the division? They ain't talking about shutting down the division with this champion, Shaq.
Yeah, man, we were tired of people, our flyweight champ going to decision with Tim Elliott and taking 4 rounds to finish Ray Borg. I know it was a spectacular finish, but my boy Figgy would have went out there and put Ray Borg in the ground and very quickly. You know what I'm saying? And so, nah, man, I'm just talking shit. Look, DJ, great champion, but just not the GOAT. Not top 5 either. Or 10, but great fighter, top 20, yeah. Top 20 fighters of all time, I'll give him that.
Definitely.
Top 17, 15.
Before we get out of here, our final thing we got to do is we got to say who will be the champ in each weight class this time next year. So we're talking, what's the date today? It's December 20-something, December 23rd. Firstly, Merry Christmas. I know it's coming up in a few days here, so Merry Christmas to all y'all out there and everything else. But anyways, champs this time next year, strawweight. So currently it's Wiley Zhang. You think Wiley Zhang will still be champ this time next year, Shaq?
Damn, that's a good question. So that means Chaunan has 1 year to get to the title fight. I'm assuming the Carla or Joanna fight should happen, somewhere soon. I'll say Yan Chaunan will be the 115-pound champ by the end of 2021.
I'm gonna agree with you, Yan Xiaonan. I mean, we've been riding. I'm gonna ride this train till the wheels fall off. You better know that. So Yan Xiaonan. All right, at 125, I assume you're not picking anyone to beat Bullet Valentina, not Jessica Andrade. I mean,
No,
you think Jessica Andrade can do it?
no.
All right, so we got Bullet Valentina. Hey, what about Rebos down at strawweight though? You think Rebos can touch gold or no?
Mm, well, she's fighting Marina. It's going to be between her, Chao all them. You know, I know Suarez should be getting back into the mix here soon. So
I'll tell
it's
you
going to be
who it
between
won't
them
be.
three that who's going to.
It won't be Rose Namajunas.
I mean, look, uh, Rose is something else, man. Look, I like her, but look, if she don't want this title, she needs to go ahead and get out the way because there's people that do. You know what I'm saying?
So 135. I'm sticking with my girl Amanda. I don't think anyone's touching her.
Yeah, unless she retires. Yeah, Amanda.
Flyweight men's. So right now, Davidson's the champ. You think you think Henry Cejudo or Cody Garbrandt or any of these guys can come through?
Unless there's someone I don't see yet, I'll still say Davison. We got the Moreno rematch. You know they're gonna want time to build that up. So I'm assuming he probably fights like twice next year. Moreno and who's number one contender outside Askar?
Yeah, so just beat up on Moreno and Askar. Keep that belt real quick.
Yeah, I'll say Asgard could be a tough fight because he's more of a staller, grappler, trying to get the decision. But yeah, I'll say Figueiredo. But flyweight's one of them divisions where a dude could pop out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? And be in the title. I mean, I know a lot of people are saying my boy the Brick Flick is going to be a title challenger here, in a year or so. But we'll see.
Well, let's relax. I know my boy pulled a stunt is what happened in that fight. I mean, Jimmy was getting his ass beat, but it's all good. That's a different talk for a different day. But anyways, 135. Currently, it's Peter Yan. You think Peter Yan? You think he's gonna keep that belt? He's got some competition with Aljo and some other guys.
Yeah, he's got his hands full. I think he beat Sterling. So then it would leave Sandhagen. Who else is there? Yeah, I got him over TJ. Man, I don't know. I got him over Sterling. But I'll be honest with Peter. Watching tape on Peter, I did say before the Aldo fight, if there was anybody that could beat Cejudo, it would be this guy. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think anybody else could. So I'll say Peter Yan will still be the champ. I don't think he gets a lot of credit, man. I mean, I know people have this thing in their mind that Jimmy Rivera was whooping his ass or something like that. But, as far as I'm concerned, Jimmy Rivera hit the deck on more than one occasion. So, and I know people think Aldo was having success, but yeah, he was for a round. But there's more rounds to go, and I think he's going to open a lot of eyes in that Sterling fight. And it just depends because the Sandhagen fight could be a possible mad matchup just because Sandhagen's way taller than him. But I've heard Peter Yan say that Corey boxes like an amateur, so we'll see.
I gotta stick with Peter Yan, man. I think he's too focused right now to lose to anybody. It's once he starts declining a little bit, he's still young too. I think he's the guy, man. So I gotta stick with Peter Yan. All right, 145. So currently it's Volkanovski. He got past Max Holloway, but there's still Cater out there. There's Sodiq. There's a lot of people out there for Zabit, Yair. Murderers Row at 145, man.
Man, I like Volkanovski. I really, man, he's more where I think he might be in play in terms of he might just because that's how these careers go out. They my fault. Shit. That's how sometimes you drop one in these title fights and you got to get your belt back. You know what I'm saying? And I could see that happening. I can't say to necessarily who. Ortega did look good his last fight, but Volkanovski's a different type of ball game. He is the best feinter in MMA. I mean, I know you know about those Volkanovski feints. My boy Volkanovski can get anyone biting on them feints. And Holloway, you know, I know it was controversial, but the drive that Volkanovski had in the last 3 rounds, and you know, time was against us, you know, because we weren't sure if we won the third, but the fourth and fifths, I mean, were clear as day. And um, you are right, Lucas. But yeah, what was I saying again?
About Volk.
Yeah, man, I don't know who's gonna beat him. I could see Zabit beating him. I could see Calvin maybe. You know, he's got to get past Holloway first. I could see somebody else being champ at the end of 2021 at featherweight. Yeah, you know, Yair, Zabit, Ortega, another guy that, you know, a lot of people shouldn't sleep on, that always gets slept on. And I feel like if he gets the right matchup, you know, is Josh Emmett. You know, and I know he's coming off ACL surgery, but the dude fucking cracks. Like, he is the hardest hitter at 145 pounds, without a question. I don't know if he's got the volume to go up against these guys like Zabit, but if he touches anyone on the chin in that division, they could go to sleep. Some other Sadiq, you know, man, I need to see Sadiq and them fight. Arnold and him need to get a fight here soon, man. I heard Arnold's looking, he might take a fight with Cub Swanson. I don't know, fucking, you know, Sadiq, you know, Jeremy. I mean, Daniel, isn't it a shame? Jeremy, I mean, he's found his way out of this Arnold fight like no other, man. I mean, now he wants to fight Giga Chikadze and shit, man. You know, hey, props to him.
I'm going to go Sodiq Yusuff, man. I think that if he can just stay active, he's got the path, man. He's got the ability. Like with these other guys like Ortega, Zabit, I think they're great fighters, but I think that they might just fall short when they get to the title shot. Whereas I can see a guy like Sodiq, a couple more wins. I think he's got the potential and the ability that he can be a champion one day. Just has to get a little bit more ring time in there. But I'm going to go with Sodiq. He's got 365 days to do it. So let's see. All right, so 155. So we don't know the deal if Habib's going to take one more. I'm assuming Habib won't be champ this time next year, not because he'll lose, but because he's probably going to be retired. So who do you think? You thinking Poirier, Gaethje, McGregor, or Charles Oliveira? Or Michael Chandler?
Yeah. That's a tough one. That's another tough one, man, because I don't know. Because I don't know the status with him, with Khabib. I don't think it's gonna be Gaethje. I don't think it's gonna be man, Oliveira could be in play just because Oliveira's a bad matchup, man. You know, you get underneath Oliveira, you might be fucked. So fucking he could be it could be him. It could be, I'll say Dustin just because he's my boy, but you know, I'd say Oliveira's a close second. I don't see Gaethje getting back up there. I'm a big fan, but you know, the way I see him is he's had an amazing career so far, but you know, man, I feel like that last fight I'm interested to see how he comes back. You know what I'm saying?
At least he's got
you know, man, I'm really curious to see if that fight actually happens because personally, I don't think it should be sanctioned. I think, but I know Kenta went but he went the distance with Khabib. Yeah, Khabib was, you know when you do your free sparring in the video game, Dan, and you want to work on your on your techniques and stuff. You know what I'm saying? My boy Khabib wanted to work on his box that night. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, I think I'll just say Dustin just because he's my boy. I mean, this fight with McGregor is pretty much the de facto title because, or it should be because I mean, I have a feeling that Khabib probably won't come back, man. I don't know. That's what my gut tells me. Because he's not a guy that needs money, man. Money is not gonna do it for him. You know what I'm saying?
Just wants to get that 30-0 and dip. You know?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess, but like, why not do it against like? I mean, he's gonna fuck McGregor up, man. Fucking like, you know, people think Conor won the third round against Khabib.
Conor didn't win shit against Khabib, but I got Charles Oliveira to become the champ. I hope Dustin does, just because he's like my favorite fighter. I love watching Dustin, but Charles just oozes future champion. Something about him, the way he's been performing lately. I think he's got it, man. I think he overcame those mental hurdles that he had to overcome, and now the physical, the mental's catching up with the physical. So I got to go Charles do Bronx Oliveira to be the UFC lightweight champ this time next year. So 170, Usman is the current champ. You know, Colby's out there. A lot of up-and-comers in that division, too. You got Himaev out there. Who do you think is going to be champ this time next year?
I'll say Usman still. I think no one can beat Usman in that division besides, I mean, Covington's a tough fight and he finished him. So, you know, Burns, we'll see how Burns does have that big explosion. Maybe he can catch Usman and their former training partners, but I'll say Usman. But I think towards the end of 2021 is where you'll start to see, I think towards the end of 2020, whether it be a rematch with Covington or the Burns fight or Chimaev, I don't know, one of these dudes emerges, and we finally see Usman maybe get rock dropped. And going into 22, after they give my prospect a full year of opponents, and that prospect being Miguel Baeza, you know, for 2022 is when you'll see my boy in the title picture. But then I'll say Usman, man. I just think he's too mentally tough, too strong in the clinch. I mean, these dudes can't get up. I mean, if you ain't Covington, you know, you're going to get, you know, pressed on that cage, taken down, you know, all that good stuff. I mean, you saw the Masvidal main event. We knew it was going to happen after that, after George gassed himself out. You know what I'm saying? Now the foot stomps and the kneeing to the thighs and all that good stuff, man. It's not the most prettiest style, but Usman, he's super effective. So, yeah, I'll say him.
I like Usman a lot, but I'm going to go with Himaev, man. I think that people don't realize how real of a deal this guy is, just because he hasn't fought anybody yet. But, I mean, if you see the potential and the skills that he brings to the table, you can see that he's a legit fighter. Look how he's handled the guys that he's been fighting. He's handled them accordingly. But what I think is going to happen is he's going to beat Leon Edwards, and then he'll either be one fight away from a title shot or he'll just get a title shot. I mean, the guy got 1 million followers his rookie year in the company, man. And listen, I like Leon a lot, but like you guys know, Brian Barberena dropped Leon. You know, Gunnar Nelson full mounted Leon. I think that just because Himaev hasn't fought anybody, don't be mistaken. The guy is the real deal. I'm telling you right now, he's going to come out here and beat Leon.
You know, Leon tried to caught COVID on purpose. I'm just kidding.
He says Hamzat is overrated. Who did he beat? Exactly. He didn't beat anybody yet. Just ask me that question after he beats Leon, though. You know what I'm saying, man? That's just how this shit works.
I can't say I don't think he's overrated at all, because I've been hearing shit about him, you know, since he made Sid Wheeler retire and Brave. You know what I'm saying? I just heard that Sid Wheeler fought some Russian and he got messed up. You know what's funny, man? Darren Stewart, the dentist, he said that he's actually trained with Chimaev. He said he went to Sweden like a while ago before Chimaev, and he said he trained with and he's trained with Edwards too before, because you know they're both from England. And he picked Chimaev, man. He said, just training with both of them, I'm gonna go with Chimaev. He was like, when he sparred with when he went to train with Chimaev, it was Chimaev and that dude. What's the dude that beat Gamrot? You know what I'm talking about? His boy, Chimaev's boy.
Yeah, Kutateladze.
Yeah, that dude. So he said that Khamzat and this dude, I mean, they fucking train hard, man. Like fucking like hours, like, you know, daily, like them two just working. And, you know, he says Leon's good, but he was like, man, he was like, when they went to the gym with Chimaev, he was like, I mean, like, you got people literally like just watching the dude train. So, you know, maybe he's right.
So 185 is currently Izzy Adesanya, and I'll tell you this, I don't really see anybody beating him. I mean, he already ran through Whitaker, Costa. So there might be a couple other guys that can work their way up to title shots like Kevin Holland, but as of right now, I see Adesanya remaining the champion this time next year.
Yeah, the big question is going to be, does he defend the belt in 2020? Because, you know, there could be some big things on the horizons for Adesanya. I mean, if he beats Blachowicz, I don't see why not that he, 185 is a bad weight cut for him, but I mean, if he knocks out Blachowicz, I mean, the Jones pay-per-view has to be next, right? I mean, I know Jones has this heavyweight thing, but when he stops Blachowicz, that he's gonna be talking shit, and John ain't going for none of that. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like he could be at 205 for all of 2021. So if he does have to vacate the belt, I'll actually say, man. So you got Whitaker, Marvin, Kevin. Who else is up in the rankings at 85s? Fucking who's right at Costa just lost. Oh, if he has to vacate the belt, I'll say Whitaker might get his belt back.
Yeah, if he has to vacate, that'll be interesting. That'll actually be really interesting if he has to vacate. That would suck though if he did, but
if he vacates it, I feel like it should be you let Marvin get a win against like Till or somebody. Oh man, Jordan, right? And then and you do Marvin versus Rob, or something like that. Because I don't see Cannonier getting back up there. I don't see maybe Costa. Maybe Costa. Yeah, Vittori. I think Marvin. Let's. He's got the country behind him. Marvin versus Costa, Marvin versus Rob, Rob versus Marvin. Any one of those type of combinations.
So 205 pounds right now. It's Jan Blachowicz. Crazy. It's not John Jones. You think Jan's going to defend here? His first time up against Izzy, or one of these up and comers like Rakic or Yuri or even Jamal Hill. Or there's a lot of options at 205.
Yeah, that's another division because 205. Now that Jones is out the picture, I mean it's wide open. You know what I'm saying? So I don't see Blachowicz probably with the belt. Look, he's had a good run, but he is getting old. He is like 38. 37. He's getting up there. You got Glover to share. I don't see him being a champ. But who knows? I'll say Izzy, man. I think Izzy towards the end of 2021. But if he fights John, man, actually, I don't know, man. It could be Jones, it could be Izzy, it could be Prochazka, Rakic. I don't see Rakic is good, but I need to see more. Who's he? He's got to fight, man. They gave him another easy one too. My head a fucking. I want to see Rakic versus someone that's gonna put him in a dog fight, because that's what I question with Rakic. I know he's technical and
Evan Clark dropped him twice.
Yeah, but I have a suspicion that if you put Rakic in a dog fight, that it's completely different, kind of like Ozdemir. So he'll probably take down Maheda and get a title shot. But I'll say, I want to pick John Jones actually, man. But I'll say Izzy.
I'm going to go with Jamal Hill. I'm not sure if it's going to be right at the end of 2021, but I think this guy is going to be a future world champion. He's got the output of a little guy, but the power of a big guy. Can go 5 rounds. I know he can. He went 5 rounds. His third or fourth pro fight. And I think he is making huge leaps every single time. I can see. I just think he's got future champion all over him. So I'm going with Jamal Hill. And last but not least, the big boys. Who will be the baddest man on the planet this time next year in the heavyweight division? You know who I'm going with. I'm going with the man I thought was going to be the heavyweight champion for the longest time. I think finally he will be. And that's Francis Ngannou. So I think he's finally going to get his rematch, finally going to get his revenge. And I think he does knock out Stipe once and for all. And Francis Ngannou will be your heavyweight champion this time next year, Shaq.
Yeah, man. I think what Francis, I think all these lessons we learned, the Derek Lewis fight, the Stipe fight, I think they were all, all what he needed to, for what's going to happen to him in 2021. And he's had to be extremely, extremely patient, because what type of time schedule my boy Miocic likes to operate on. You know what I'm saying? Miocic don't got no problem sitting out. You know what I'm saying? Miocic and Dana ain't the best of friends. So I see Ngannou. Yeah, I feel like Ngannou will get his belt in 2021, and not only is he going to get his belt, Daniel, I think this dude's about to be possibly one of the biggest stars in the UFC after he gets that belt. I mean, he'll be the heavyweight champ, and not only beating Stipe, but there could be he can knock out Stipe twice. If they do a trilogy, and gas. You might be right. I mean, look, if Ngannou has to go to the second round, I'm gonna just walk away. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be like, God damn it, fuck. Like, but Francis, knock him out. But I think he could also knock Stipe out if they do a trilogy, and he has a potential fight with John Jones on the horizon because Jones is possibly coming up to heavyweight. So, I feel like Francis is in the best position to be the biggest star of 2021. And I think he will get that belt. If Stipe avoids this KO shot again, I'll stand up and applaud him myself. You know what I'm saying?
The first time I was saying shit like, no guy that lost to Stefan Struve is beating Francis Ngannou in a fight, and then he beat Francis Ngannou in a fight. But I'm gonna sing the same too.
Dana said that. Yeah. Well, Dana said for the first one, like Francis was missing his practices, his treatments at the PI. He took flights to France like 2 weeks before the fight. Like Francis was tripping. I mean, he had just knocked out Overeem. I mean, you remember how viral that KO was.
Yeah, that shit was something else, man. So I hope to see him do big things. We only got to see him for 20 seconds in 2020, but I'm sure he'll put on some good performances in 2021. But man, that about wraps it up. So we want to thank everybody for joining us on this very special edition of Half the Battle, last episode of the year, I believe. So thank you guys so much for all your support. And now it's on to 2021. So it's crazy. This year flew by so fast. Make sure y'all follow Shaq at MMA Genius 05. Follow me at Best Fight Picks. Go to bestfightpicks.com for the plays. Subscribe to Half the Battle on iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube, Stitcher, Spotify, all the places where we are available. I also got some written and video work available at linemovement.com. So just thank you guys so much for all your support. We truly, truly appreciate all of you guys. It would not be possible without you. Big things coming. So again, thank you guys. And until the next time, let's cash these bets.